Good afternoon, everyone. The Dean has instructed me to get the show going. I'm Justin MacArthur, Director of the Department of Neurology here at Hopkins. I'm privileged to welcome you to the dedication of the Snyder-Granader Family Professorship in Multiple Sclerosis and the installation of Dr. Peter Calabresi as the inaugural professor. I'm really honored and gratified that each of you has taken time out of your day to be with us today. This is really an auspicious occasion, and there are several people, I believe, viewing the ceremony online, so welcome to you as well. I'd like to offer a special welcome to Dr. Ted DeWeese, Dean of the Medical Faculty, Chief Executive Officer of Johns Hopkins Medicine, and Maureen Marsh, Secretary of the Johns Hopkins Board of Trustees. And also to Fran Meyer, who's sitting in the audience, the special partner of Paul Rothman, our former dean. We're also deeply honored to have Bob and Judy Snyder joining us virtually today to celebrate their family's legacy. Equally thrilled to virtually welcome Andy and Molly Snyder, as well as Jill and Rob Grenadier. We're sending our gratitude and best wishes from Baltimore. Bob and Judy, it's been a long time since we met. It's great to see you even online. Also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Calabresi's wife, Dr. Katie Whartonby, a retired Johns Hopkins faculty, as well as colleagues, mentees, past and present, who are able to celebrate Peter's achievements with us. Katie and Peter's 4 children, Miles, Augie, Brent, and Tessa, are not able to be with us in person today, but I know some of them are online, and I know just how proud they must be of their father today. The Snyder-Granader Family Professorship in Multiple Sclerosis was established through an act of extraordinary philanthropy by Bob and Judy Snyder. Their generosity and vision have made a lasting impact on Johns Hopkins Medicine and numerous other institutions who are dedicated to advancing science and patient care. Like so many who inspire us, Bob and Judy have demonstrated a remarkable commitment to improving the lives of others, driven by their dedication to research, innovation, and the future of multiple sclerosis care. The Snyder and Grenadier families, we are deeply grateful to you for your partnership, and we're honored to carry forward your legacy of impact. Through this professorship, we reaffirm our shared commitment to advancing breakthroughs in neuroimmunology and multiple sclerosis, to ensuring that patients today and in the future will benefit from your extraordinary generosity. This professorship celebrates your family's legacy and lifelong dedication to making a difference through philanthropy. Peter is an exemplary of Johns Hopkins University in medicine. This distinguished professorship is a reflection of his exceptional contributions to MS research, to patient care, and mentorship. Having had the honor of helping to recruit Peter to Johns Hopkins over 20 years ago, I can say with certainty that his leadership, his dedication, and his scientific vision have not only transformed the field of MS, but have also profoundly enriched our institution. You have built an extraordinary division combining neuroimmunology and neurological infections that is now renowned worldwide and attracts the very best scientists and clinicians. What is remarkable about you, Peter, given all of your accomplishments, is your modesty. I have never met anyone who is less likely to seek the spotlight and more concerned that that spotlight shines on your mentees. I happen to share the same pod in outpatients every week with Peter when he sees his patients. It's heartwarming to see their reaction when he enters their room. Relief, comfort, and a feeling that they're being seen by someone who really cares. That is why they travel from around the world to seek his expertise. To so many, he is more than a doctor. He is a trusted partner, an advocate, and even family. It speaks volumes that this professorship was made possible through the generosity of a grateful patient who wanted to ensure that there will always be a physician like Peter at Johns Hopkins, caring for those with MS with the same dedication and humility. Peter has transformed our understanding of MS and neurodegeneration through groundbreaking research. His impact is undeniable. His pioneering use of a technique called OCT to measure neurodegeneration has revolutionized the field and earned him the Baranchik Award for Innovation in MS Research. He also served as the global principal investigator for 2 phase 3 clinical trials, including the pivotal study that led to the approval of the first oral medication for MS. This forever changed the standard of care and the prognosis for people with MS worldwide. As director of the Johns Hopkins MS Center and the Division of Neuroimmunology and Neurological Infections, Peter has built globally recognized programs known for their excellence in clinical care, research, and education. Under his leadership, the MS Center has grown to a staff of almost 50, expanded its reach with a satellite clinic and an infusion center, and strengthened its global impact through the International MS Visual Consortium, which Peter co-founded to foster collaboration and innovation in MS research. Peter is so much more than a leader. He's a mentor, an advocate, and a builder of others' careers. He's trained over 100 individuals, many of whom have gone on to lead their own programs in MS and neuroimmunology. His inclusive and selfless approach to mentorship has uplifted women, LGBTQ individuals, and people from underrepresented groups in medicine. Finally, I have to comment on his physical commitment to fundraising by scaling mountains and traversing the Grand Canyon. This professorship is a fitting recognition of Peter's extraordinary contributions, not only to MS research and patient care, but also to the entire Johns Hopkins community. His work has changed lives, shaped careers, and advanced the field in ways that will have a lasting impact for generations. There is no one more deserving of this honor, and I am thrilled that we can celebrate his achievements in this way. Peter, congratulations on this well-earned recognition. We are so proud to call you colleague and friend. I would now like to welcome to the podium Dr. Ted DeWeese, the Francis Watt Baker, MD, and Lennox D. Baker, Jr., MD, Dean of the Medical Faculty and Chief Executive Officer of Johns Hopkins Medicine. Dean DeWeese.
I don't think there's anything else left to say. Pretty sure. Justin, thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you today, and I think it bears repeating just how important it is to dedicate this professor, the Snyder-Granader Family Professor in MS, and celebrate you, Peter, the inaugural most worthy recipient of this professorship. Congratulations again. As Justin noted, that Judy and Bob could not be here today, virtually, say hello. But like Peter, I just want to recognize their contribution specifically to this, how important it is for all philanthropy to come in. But Bob and Judy, please know that supporting Peter specifically, supporting this research in particular, there are thousands and thousands of patients that you're never going to see and you will never know who are going to benefit by what you have done today, making this very special day possible. So on behalf of all of Johns Hopkins, thanks to you very much. These are always fun days. These days, these are like my only fun days. And they are so because they do, endowed professors do allow us to think about and celebrate all the best things that we are, the men and women who traverse these halls and make this place so great on our faculty. They teach unbelievable students who go on to be our alum and do great things elsewhere. And of course, allow us to celebrate the wonderful philanthropists who have a vision of help, who understand what Johns Hopkins does, what Johns Hopkins means to the world to improve human health. So these are great days. And this particular professorship, I think, reflects a real partnership, a promise, if you will, to continue to do that work in neuroimmunology and specifically in MS research, to do it at the highest level. And I don't think there's anybody who could be honored and could carry that legacy forward as well as you, Peter, truly. Peter and I don't know each other well. I just happen to have the opportunity to know more about him than he knows about me, which is probably good on so many levels for both him and me. But I have a few friends who are your patients that you probably, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. And I think Justin reflected a couple of things perfectly, which is, you are an outstanding clinician, you're an outstanding researcher, you are a great educator and mentor, and you do all of those things with compassion. And you, I guess Justin said people, when we were sharing a pod with him, patients come in to see you as their physician, and it's so important. And the word that I heard was that it's like you're their lifeline. And that's the best thing we could say about one of our faculty members as they're managing patients, Peter, that you could be just that for them, and I'm confident for their families too. So thank you for what you do for them. They do come from around the world to see you. As Justin reflected, you're a serious academician combined with physician, combined with mentor. There's hundreds of people who have benefited by your mentorship, who now are out doing the same work and continuing to treat patients elsewhere. I did look it up, and your nearly 500 manuscripts and H-index, for those of you who are less familiar, sort of a measure of impact is like, 100 plus. Not that I'm jealous about any of that, by the way. But it just simply reflects you are the embodiment of what I think all of us would hope to be, a great physician scientist, Peter. And doing that, running two of the most important places in the world, the Hopkins MS Center and the Richard T. Johnson Division of Neuroimmunology and Neurologic Infections. Again, two of the most highly respected places in the world. And yet you do all of that while scaling mountains, which therefore you and I need to speak, because that's the only other thing I can do. I know prostate cancer and I can do that. The rest of it is all smoke and mirrors for me. So it's truly a pleasure, Peter, to celebrate this day with you, with Katie, your family who might be online, and for all of your friends. Because on behalf of all of your patients and your future patients and all of those that you will have touched through your research, thank you so very, very much. So at this time, many of you have heard me say like a dozen times by now, and all endowments are held and administered by the university, so we must formally present them to the university. And so today, I invite Ms. Maureen Walsh, who's a Senior Vice President of Johns Hopkins University and Secretary of the Board of Trustees, to join me. So as Dean of the School of Medicine and CEO of Johns Hopkins Medicine, I formally present to you, Ms. Marsh, the Snyder-Granader Family Professorship in Multiple Sclerosis in the Johns Hopkins Department of Neurology. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Deweese. Thank you, Bob and Judy Snyder, and members of your family. Thank you for everybody gathered here today. And if you can't see us online, the room is full all the way in the back. It's just lovely to see everyone out. And thank you especially to you, Dr. Calabresi, for having us have this occasion today. On behalf of Johns Hopkins University Board of Trustees, I am honored to accept the Snyder-Granader Family Professorship in Multiple Sclerosis to be held in the Department of Neurology. Endowed professorships, as Dean Dewey said, are vital to our ongoing mission of teaching, research, and service. And the men and women, such as Dr. Calabresi, who hold endowed professorships, conduct some of the most significant research. And it is these faculty members who are leaders in their field and who attract the best students to come to Johns Hopkins. Their work makes this university great. And their ability to chart new courses in research and patient care comes in no small part to the reliable support of an endowed chair. So thank you again to Bob and Judy for this incredible act of philanthropy. Again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations, Dr. Calabresi, on this tremendous honor. Now I invite Dr. MacArthur back to the podium.
Thank you. So now it's my turn to tell you a little bit about the two philanthropists and their families who really made this wonderful occasion happen and this endowed chair for Peter. So Robert N. and L. Judith Snyder are two deeply committed philanthropists. Their vision has made a lasting and meaningful impact on countless institutions, including here at Hopkins. Bob and Judy have long been champions of innovation in healthcare, in education, and the arts. Their establishment of their family professorship in MS is a powerful testament to their dedication to advancing neuroimmunology and neuroscience. They're investing not only in research, but in the future of care for individuals living with MS. Let me tell you a little bit about Bob. He's a distinguished business leader and civic advocate, co-founder and chairman of the Cambridge Information Group, and chairman of Sotheby's Institute of Art. Bob has helped shape the landscape of information services and arts education alike. His leadership spans a remarkable range, from the Smithsonian and the Weizmann Institute to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, where he was honored with an honorary fellowship. Judy Snyder, too, is a vital force behind their shared philanthropic mission. Her leadership has extended into critical areas of health and wellness, most recently as chairwoman of the Time is Essence luncheon benefiting Hearing the Ovarian Cancer Whisper. So together, Bob and Judy have nurtured a legacy of generosity that is deeply rooted in family values. This family professorship honors that legacy, celebrating their children, Andy and Jill, their 5 grandchildren, and their unwavering belief that philanthropy can and should change lives. Their support for Hopkins is not just a gift, it's a partnership. It's a commitment to excellence in science, to compassion and care, and to hope for those who need it most. So on behalf of the entire Johns Hopkins community, we extend our deepest gratitude to Bob and Judy Snyder for their vision, their leadership, and their enduring dedication to making the world better. So because Bob and Judy could not be with us today, I am proud to read a letter from Bob. So Bob says, "In my mid-30s, I was diagnosed with MS. It started with tingling in my neck and then dropping of my foot. The doctor said it would continue to get worse, and I was likely to eventually be bound to a wheelchair. Today, I'm 83 years old, and one of the reasons I can't be with you today on this wonderful occasion is because I'm playing golf in Florida. I'm able to live this life in large part because of Dr. Peter Calabresi. Since we met in 2010, he's been my first call on every medical issue, and there have been a few. From lymphoma to COVID, I check with him to see how a treatment might affect my MS, and in reverse, whether something I'm feeling might be a reaction to the disease. Outside of my family, there is no one who has had a bigger impact on my well-being and quality of life than Peter Calabresi. Today, we celebrate a wonderful milestone in the fight against MS with the establishment of the Snyder-Granader Family Professorship. It's my real honor to see Peter as the inaugural recipient of this distinguished chair. Peter's guidance and support over the years have been invaluable. His help has allowed me to live a life that his team has called a poster child for living with MS. I'm only one of the many patients that he has helped over his distinguished career. While Peter's work in the examination room changes lives, it's only part of what he does. He spends 1 day a week seeing patients and then selflessly spends the other 4 days leading groundbreaking, probably 6 days, leading groundbreaking research projects, pushing the boundaries of what we know and how we treat this condition. There is no one more deserving of this chair, so congratulations, Peter. So I'm now delighted to call Dr. Ellen Mowry, who's co-director of the MS Center, to the podium.
Thank you so much. In the spirit of academia, I organized the talk into a structured and very scientific abstract. Introduction. Considering the vast number of individuals, current and former trainees, collaborators, and others who've had the chance to benefit from his brilliance, and who collectively could fill the rest of the day with personal stories of how he specifically influenced their lives in science, it's a real honor to be able to introduce Dr. Calabresi, a true leader in the MS field, and the person we're here to celebrate today. I've been privileged enough to work with Peter since arriving at Hopkins in 2011, and my goal is to provide a brief overview of his career and legacy. Methods. To prepare for this talk, I referenced Peter's 74-page CV, the input of colleagues and former trainees who, again, are too numerous to count, many conversations with Peter, and my personal observations and perspective. Results. Peter grew up in Rhode Island, one of 3 children. Following in the footsteps of his father, an esteemed oncologist, Peter pursued a career in medicine. After finishing his undergraduate studies at Yale, where he was a member of the crew team, his coach, Dr. Paul Rothman, states, rowing was perfect for Peter, requiring intense concentration and hard work. And then medical school at Brown. Peter completed residencies in both internal medicine and neurology, because why not do 2, at the University of Rochester. Dr. Ralph Josefowitz, his neurology program director, who led the program for decades, provided 2 reflection points for today. First, he says, when I was staffing a new patient with Peter in the resident clinic during his chief residency, we went to my office to discuss. When I asked Peter what he thought was going on with the patient, he said to me, do you want me to tell you what I think is going on? Or do you want me to tell you what you think is going on? Ralph knew Peter had arrived as a neurologist. He goes on to say, Peter was one of my very best residents, and I cherish the time I spent mentoring him during his training. He is courageous and has incredible integrity and perseverance. One of Peter's co-residents, Bob Holloway, now neurology chair at the University of Rochester, states, while neuroimmunology has changed, some things have not. Peter was then as he is now. And the secret to his success? The most humble, kind, giving, and virtuous person you'll ever meet. And you know it a few seconds after you start talking with him. Subsequently, Peter and his wife, Dr. Katie Wortenby, herself an accomplished scientist, moved to Bethesda, Maryland, where Peter pursued a fellowship in neuroimmunology at the NIH. Peter thrived in the lab of Dr. Henry McFarland, and those of us a few years behind, who were nonetheless looking ahead to careers in MS, held in special regard the impressive work that emerged from the lab at this time, which coincided with the game-changing approval of the first disease-modifying therapies for MS. Peter's work at the NIH was pivotal in characterizing how quickly these therapies shut down new areas of MS-related inflammation, called lesions, on brain MRI, helping to establish a way to measure if an MS therapy was working, a measure we still use today in clinical trials and in the care of our patients with MS. During this time, Peter also began to provide a glimpse of the breadth of his planned scientific contributions to the field, taking leadership roles in early phase clinical trials of potential therapies and expanding to the wet lab to elucidate details about MS pathogenesis. Dr. Ben Segal, now neurology chair at the Ohio State University, who overlapped with Peter at the time, said, even in those early days, I was struck by his intelligence, curiosity, dedication, and quiet civility. Over the years, these qualities have only grown more apparent and are undoubtedly central to his success as a leading physician scientist and a role model for countless emerging neurologists and researchers. After spending a few years as a faculty member at Brown, Peter returned to the area, first to the University of Maryland. In addition to continuing his previous lines of work, he developed deep relationships by caring for people with MS in the clinic and began to expand his work in the lab, focusing specifically on immune cells that become bad actors in MS and assessing therapies that might mitigate their destructive behaviors. After moving to Johns Hopkins, where he was immediately named director of the MS Center, and soon thereafter became co-director and then director of the Division of Neuroimmunology and Neurological Infections, Peter added yet another component to his armamentarium of expertise, imaging the optic nerve as a measure of MS burden and prognosis. Ultimately of note, setting the path in motion for inclusion of evidence of optic nerve damage into the most recent diagnostic criteria for MS that were established just this past year. From this point forward, Peter's CV explodes with scientific output. As you heard, he has nearly 500 original research publications. And what's really fascinating is how he's managed to keep all of these things moving forward in parallel: clinical trials, biomarkers, imaging, and basic science. He has received many accolades. How, might you ask, does he do all of this? While also running the division, maintaining a robust clinical practice, and serving on innumerable grant review panels, editorial boards, and in other leadership positions. From my perspective, the secret recipe includes 3 components. First, curiosity and intellect in partnership with his patients. Peter is the most well-read individual I know, and his tremendous ability to retain what he has learned, to integrate that learning into his existing vast trove of knowledge, and to relate it to what is clinically meaningful ensures he is always at the leading edge of hypothesis development and that the topic ultimately matters to people with MS. Second, collaborative spirit. A major theme that is evident in knowing Peter, as well as in perusing his CV, is that when you start to work with him, you'll continue to do so. If you travel with Peter to a scientific meeting, you'll start to get a sense of how many people with whom he's worked and how many wish to work with him. He continues to develop collaborations internationally in response to synergies he identifies and hypotheses he forms as he absorbs the science being presented in real time. He knows that we accomplish more together than we do in silos. Third, mentorship prowess. So many people here today, whether physically, online, or in spirit, have benefited from his scientific and career mentorship provided by Peter, and their successes are, by extension, his. Now, regarding mentorship, personally, when I arrived at Johns Hopkins as a very junior faculty member many years ago, I knew his reputation well, though I had interacted with him face-to-face just a few times, most memorably when he agreed to play hooky with my husband and me at a meeting in rural Italy, and so we could go to see Naples for a day. Nonetheless, in making this move back to the East Coast, I don't think I truly understood what an incredible mentor and colleague I was gaining by joining Peter's team. Peter sees the promise and potential of each person he takes on. He has high expectations, but he also provides a very solid footing on which his mentees can steady themselves as they develop their work and careers. He also prioritized building a sense of teamwork at Johns Hopkins, and I maintain ours is a very special place because of this team mentality. He fosters mutual respect and a shared vision for making a difference in the lives of people with MS. Leveraging his own secret recipe, he also ensures that mentees develop their own collaborations and that he can bestow on them the gifts of this treasure trove of knowledge. For example, I remember working on a grant several years ago on fasting diets in people with MS related to a specific metabolic pathway called mTOR. Peter said, "You should probably de-emphasize this particular part of the grant because there was that failed clinical trial of this particular medication. By the way, a trial that had actually never been published. That didn't go so well." So he can pull out these random facts that really help your own science improve. Importantly, Peter always keeps his office door open. He has a clear view of his therapy couch and will stop whatever he's doing anytime his mentees or team members need help. But don't just take it from me. Here are a few brief reflections from others. From Dr. Michael Kornberg. Peter has been a professional role model in every sense. As a clinician, his dedication to patients has been a consistent inspiration, and the seamlessness with which he moves between the clinic and the research arena is something to which I always aspire. He is one of the very rare people driven by commitment to a cause rather than personal recognition, a trait that has been readily apparent in his mentorship and leadership of the division. From Dr. Sachin Gadani, Peter is an incredible mentor and the best role model of an ideal physician-scientist that I know. He pairs scientific intuition and curiosity with compassion, with translation and real-world applications of research paramount at the end of the day. From Dr. Angeliki Filipatou, what sets him apart is the humility and kindness he consistently models in a unique way that sets the tone for everyone around him. Early in my training, I was humbled by the trust he placed in me as an inexperienced trainee. He offered insightful advice when I went to him with problems, anticipated the next steps in my journey before I had even considered them, and provided guidance and support that helped me grow. From Dr. Marjan Garagazlu, no one can truly know how far the impact of a mentor extends. It can shape lives. It carries forward, reaching far beyond what we can see, perhaps into eternity. Limitations. Peter himself has very few limitations. Some, including Mr. Snyder, might raise their eyebrows on discovering that he's not a golfer. Personally, his lack of interest in karaoke is suboptimal. In terms of limitations of this work, added perspective from even more individuals who have interfaced with Peter would provide a more robust picture of his legacy, but again, we have a time limit. Conclusions. Peter, you're an extraordinary clinician scientist, and you're an unparalleled mentor, collaborator, colleague, and friend. We are all far, far better because of you, and you are most deserving in this honor today. Thank you.
Ellen, beautiful. Thank you for those words. Really wonderful. Well, again, you've seen, heard everything that is the best about you, Peter. I have nothing more to say except thank you on behalf of all of us. You're an extraordinary person, extraordinary member, an honorable member of this faculty, and I'm so very proud to be able to work with you. Thank you for that. Endowed professorships are the highest honor we can bestow on a faculty member, and you are most deserving, Peter, so if you join me, please. So on behalf of the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, it is a pleasure to present you this medallion in recognition of your appointment as the Snyder-Granader Family Professor in Multiple Sclerosis. Congratulations, Peter.
Good afternoon. I'm overwhelmed. Those of you know me know that I don't always enjoy the limelight so much, but your comments were incredibly kind, and I'm deeply honored and appreciative to have this honor. Thank you. I'm going to start out with some thank yous and then say a few words about my time here and some people. First and foremost, thank you to Bob and Judy and the Grenadier family for having the vision to give this professorship. I'm really deeply honored and very appreciative. Bob, I've known him for a long time. He was a supporter right from the very beginning. He understood that technology was the key to science and medicine and invested very early in helping us with our proteomics work with Dr. Avi Nath. And he had a sense of where things were going that somewhat foreshadowed our Precision Medicine Center of Excellence. Like he actually, in some ways, predicted many of the things we were going to do with different technologies, MRI, optical coherence tomography, all the omics technologies. Bob, quite simply, is just a genius. If you talk to him, he's intuitive, creative. He keeps me on my toes all the time. I just wish he were a scientist. He's really an amazing guy. He sends me emails about latest stem cell therapies, new possible cures for Alzheimer's disease, and is just a wonderful thinker outside of a field that he's an expert in. So he's really a very special person, and I like to think of him as a friend more than someone who I just help to take care of. He's taught me a lot of things about life. He's a self-described cockeyed optimist, and it took me a while to kind of understand that, but Bob always sees the positive in everything. He could be limping and dragging a leg one day and coming in because it was worse and tell me that his arm's better. And he was actually walking faster, and Judy doesn't really know what he was talking about. She just saw him at a bad point of the day. And so his positivity and optimism, it really kind of buoys all of us and is especially appreciated in these stressful times right now. I'd like to thank my wife, Dr. Katie Wardenby, who you heard is on faculty here for 20 years, 10 in the Cancer Center and 10 with neurology. I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for Katie and everything that she's done. We have 4 kids. She also happens to be a PhD immunologist and gene therapy expert. Not a bad thing to have around the dinner table at the end of the day. She keeps me honest in experimental design, helped me through countless grant reviews and applications, and has really been the anchor. And so I love you. Thanks for everything you've done. Thank you to the School of Medicine leadership, Dean DeWeese, Maureen Marsh, Justin, and Jack Griffin. As you heard, Jack was chair when I came in 2003, but I think Justin was very much involved in the recruit at the time. I think he'd been spying on me over at University of Maryland. And my wife was already on faculty at Hopkins, and when I was actually looking at some other jobs back up in New England, and Katie said to her boss at the time, Kurt Sivan and Drew Pardol, is like, yeah, my husband wants to move again. Like, can you guys find a job for him someplace? And so, literally, this is how it went down. So Kurt, I think, knew Justin from way back when, and said, yeah, I guess we could use an MS guy. So Katie got me a job here, and things have worked out pretty well. But Justin, you've really been incredibly supportive. You provided an amazing infrastructure, the School of Medicine leadership, first Dean Rothman and now Dean DeWeese. It's been incredible, and having core facilities and all the amazing people that I get to work with here. It's made it a really special place. I would just tell one story about Justin. When I first arrived, he said, the soil is fertile and the seeds have been planted, and really all you need to do is add water. So I added some water, and a week later I was impatient, so I added some more water. A week later I was impatient, and then more fertilizer, and then things started growing, and I said, oh, this is fun. We kept adding water and fertilizer. And so the metaphor is that it started very modestly, but it has exceeded my expectations. So think of Little Shop of Horrors. Do you guys know this movie? You know, there's a greenhouse, and there are these little tiny plants, and they're not doing so well, and then they grow and grow and grow, and then the plants grow outside the greenhouse, and then they get out into the street. So this is me and our team, all of you, poking your head in Justin's door, feed me, Seymour. And Justin has kept feeding us, and the School of Medicine leadership has kept feeding us, allowing us to do what we wanted to do. So thank you very much. I'd like to recognize special people on my team. First, we'll start with the Clinical MS Center. Ellen, thank you for your kind words. I was expecting more of a roasting, so appreciate you not commenting on my karaoke skills any more than you did. No, but seriously, it's been great working with you. When Dean Rothman came to us now, I think 8 years ago, about starting a Precision Medicine Center of Excellence, I honestly was terrified because I had no idea what a cohort study was. I was in my lab, and so Ellen had this all designed in her head and really helped it to come to fruition, and has been an amazing partner with the Precision Medicine Center of Excellence that really has grown remarkably. And so thank you for everything you do. And then I'm not going to be able to get through everyone, but I don't know if Scott Newsom is here. Starting the experimental therapeutics program has really been instrumental, and Scott is so invested in developing therapies for people who are suffering with this terrible disease. So thanks, Scott, for what you do, and Shiv Saida for helping kickstart the retinal optical coherence tomography program. I can still remember the first time I spoke to Shiv on the phone for about an hour, and he said, yeah, the Mayo Clinic is trying to recruit me. There was a long tradition of them recruiting people from Ireland, and Sean Pittock, I think, had almost locked him in, and then Shiv and I talked on the phone for about an hour, and at the end of the hour, he said, I think I'll join you in Baltimore. And Shiv has really just been amazing in working with me on the Vision project. So it's been a great run, hopefully many more years to go. So the list goes on. I do want to mention Moira. Everyone knows my nurse Moira, who literally is my right hand. She makes everything happen on a day-to-day basis when I'm away traveling or if I'm in the lab, and she's beloved by the patients. Many times the notes come in that they're meant to be for me, but they say, we love Moira. And so she really has been incredible. And then just all the many other trainees and staff that are part of our team. I did want to talk about the lab folks a little bit, because the people in the lab have really kind of buoyed me. Maybe I trained them, but when your trainees or mentees then exceed everything that you had planned for them, they're really starting to teach you. And so I think Danny Reich, who's over there, it's now runs his own lab at the National Institutes of Health, is a great example of that. I maybe had a small part in guiding Danny towards doing research in MS, but all of his ideas and thoughts sort of exceeded what I had imagined, and so it's been a privilege, Danny, working with you and partnering with you, and then really all the people in the lab, Pavan Bhargava and Elias Zirkos, and you heard from Michael Kornberg, Kate Fitzgerald, Blake Dewey. The names go on. You guys all make me better. Marjan, the whole lab, Matt Smith. I feel just so privileged to get to work with everyone. So thank you there as well. A few of the brief accomplishments. I don't want to make this go on too long, but I'm just really proud that we are recognized as a world-class MS center and had people from all over, and they not only want to see me, but everyone else. And so when I was at Brown, I ran the MS Center there. I was the director of a one-person MS Center, and I realized very quickly that to accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish, I needed to be at a place that had more people and more expertise. And so it's again, I think we've done a great job clinically and with the experimental therapeutics program and magnetic resonance imaging with Danny and the OCT with Shiv, and then at the basic science level, I wanted to recognize Ted and Valina Dawson, who have really taught me so much about basic neuroscience. I don't know if Dwight Burgles is here, but Dwight is a myelin biologist, and Jack Griffin had told me that I should really get to know him because he discovered these cells called NG2 cells that can turn into myelinating cells. And in the beginning, he was very much a developmental person. I was a disease guy, but slowly we kind of came together, and now I've had a wonderful collaboration. The list goes on. I collaborate with Jerry Prince on the Homewood campus, who's an engineer, Peter Van Zyl in the Kennedy Krieger Kirby Imaging Center. And this place is full of so many fantastic scientists, and it's just such a privilege. One of my favorite things is to set up these collaborations and work across departments and schools here, and so it's really a very special place, and feel very lucky to be here. So kind of in closing, I think despite everything that's going on right now, the future is bright. And gifts such as this professorship create a lasting legacy to support academia through the challenging times that we live in now, so that future generations may prosper and deliver on the promise of medicine. And I'd really like to thank Bob and Judy one more time again for their generous hearts, wonderful vision, and friendship. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Bob and Judy. I only have a couple of remarks to make, and the name Jack Griffin has been mentioned a couple of times today, and I think Jack would be incredibly proud of you and your accomplishments, and he was the one that recruited you here. I just helped a little bit. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. We are going to take a reception, both here and outdoors, and so again, please join me in welcoming Peter Calabresi as the first Snyder-Granader Professor.